Welcome back to the final match of the 2020 Division 2 New Zealand Mixed Ultimate Championships here in beautiful Christchurch. My name is Blair Monroe. I'm here in the booth, and we have for you a wonderful final between the Dunedin mixed team, the roster up on the screen now, Abby Liddell, Graydon Scott, Matthew Wilson, Liz Gooden, Elliot Wilson, Aoife Broad, Hilary Sheridan, Amelia Mance, Rory Liston, Jack Payne, Z. Gier, Rose Urson, Michael Ernst, Harrison Free, Tim Adler, Olivia Altenberg, Carey, Alaguna, Sam Middleton, Shamina Botafogo, and Justine Ursua. And their opponents today in this, the final match, Equilibrium, who have had some phenomenal upsets, coming back from point deficits to find themselves in the final match. Hazel Broadley and Melissa McLeod leading their team as captains. Moss Lilly and Lucy Thine as spirit captains. Peter Hubin, Zoe Risner, Mike Connolly, Sarah Silverman, John Morton, Joseph Coggins, Sean Gardner, Tim Bunkenberg, Terry Lee Wickens, Jason Palmer, David Nelson, Sue Ong, Pippa Mason, Tane McNee, Rachel Larkin, Sarah Montgomery, and Benjamin Stiggers rounding out the roster. It's looking to be an exciting match, and as you'll have seen from some of our previous streams, we've got some very, very exciting Frisbee weather in the sense that there's very, very strong winds that are quite changeable, making it very, very difficult for our teams to execute as consistently as they otherwise might, which just means that they're really displaying the kind of fortitude that allows them to dig deep and really pull some excellent Frisbee out for our display. And I'm joined in the booth by Toby Sutherland.
Hello everyone. We've got an exciting day ahead of us. I've been watching these teams playing, and we've seen some excellent upwind points so far, and so given that we've had two teams culminating to a final match and also building their upwind skills throughout the whole weekend, I think we're going to see some excellent play.
And DMT on screen now in their dark uniforms. Number 7, Scott, who's done a huge amount of the heavy lifting in terms of their offense and driving it. And Equilibrium in the light blue, looking to take the field on offense as we start this first point of the game. You can see the speed of the wind as the uniform of the players ripples. Again, a regulation Frisbee is only 175 grams. It's a very aerodynamic thing, but that means that it's quite easily impacted by the wind. Equilibrium sending up a hand to give the signal for readiness. Just waiting for DMT now.
Yeah, the puller here for DMT, Graydon Scott, he's a key player on their team, and he's been doing a huge amount of work for them, so he'll be one to keep an eye on.
A very, very high pull, arrested in the wind, starting to get pushed back. Again, the higher those discs go, the more impacted they are by the wind, landing just around the defensive brick marks. It's about 18 meters away from the Equilibrium attacking zone.
Here we have Mike Connolly with the disc. He's another key player for the other team. He's just snuck one down the end zone for a low grab. It's a great dive roll to pick that one up. Fantastic grab.
Sean Gardner on the reception to take Equilibrium to a quick 1-0 lead.
Yeah, it's to be expected to put that downwind away. We've been seeing this from teams all weekend, just putting down that short field. The wind's definitely helping those passes. It's hard catches, but people are making it happen with force of will.
So Equilibrium to come out on defense now. An upwind opportunity for them. Upwind breaks so far where the defense manages to score a turnover and then convert that into a point of their own. Seem to be the dividing difference between winners and losers on this, the second day of our tournament.
Yeah, the player we see here with the disc, Moss Lilly, he's played almost everywhere in the country, actually. He's a well-known personality, and this is actually a great rivalry for him because he's spent a lot of time in Dunedin playing with them, and he's a familiar face, and so there's a good bit of competition between them. Let's see what he can put up as far as a pull.
Huge amount of meat on it. Again, the same thing. Catches the wind, slows down towards the other half of the field.
Payne picking up. Nothing downfield though. He's actually going to try a swing, which is risky in this weather. It seems that teams are confident enough to move the disc sideways for now rather than opting for any territory and defence play. Oh, but this might have backfired on them. A turnover with a short field for Equilibrium.
About 20 metres out from the red zone, DMT with a DMT on defense, Equilibrium with a great opportunity for that first upwind break, a crucial second point of the game potentially. Lily to pick up. Nice, comfortable backhand, pushing to the far side now.
So a big zone put on by DMT, and they're making it hard for the players. Yeah, hard to find anything through. They decide to try to go around, but have no success. Payne's looking for a big shot. I think he wants to get it downfield. They're just taking their time at the moment, and it's cool to see some patience in these conditions. Oh, never mind. Its rip goes down deep. Can't quite find Sheridan in the deep, though. Was that a good one? Good one.
And again, we've talked about the importance of these upwind breaks, and when you are playing downwind, particularly as you have a really solid zone structure, it's very easy to just send the disc very long, forcing the opponent to lose any territory that they've gained.
Great D by Liddell. She's now got the disc, very calm figure with it. Unfortunately catches that downwind and just drops the disc rapidly. Payne can't quite get under it.
So again, a nice quick gainer for Equilibrium on the whole. Lily looks to be picking up. DMT using that very consistent, very strong defensive cup that we've seen consistently throughout their matches so far.
One adjustment I really like I'm seeing here from the Dunedin mixed team is that they've actually put an assassin in this zone. They've opted to only have one person marking like the behind the wall space, which often you would see two people in lighter winds. Oh, that's a great breakthrough from Lily to get through this. But this assassin that they've put on, you can see him on the left of the screen there, number 99. He's done a lot of work to prevent any easy passes, and it's putting a lot of pressure on the throwers.
Payne to Liddell, big forehand, touches down. Lily in the deep space, ready to pick it up, hoping to re-establish a bit of momentum for this Equilibrium defensive line with a great offensive opportunity. Looking to put that second point on the board, looking to just widen up that margin. It is a tough game. These players have spent 2 days in relatively harrowing conditions for Ultimate players. There is fatigue, there is tiredness, mental and physical, and it really does come down to which team can dig the deepest in this moment. Backhand's questionable. Wind catches it. A lot of players try and take a bite. Nothing happens. Finds ground. Lily picks up. Equilibrium to take possession. Tries that same breakthrough a second time. Straight into the hands of the cup player. It's a no-go.
Yeah, it's a quick turn.
Altenberg carry on a beautiful block. Perfect positioning in that zone defense.
This looks like a classic vertical stack, and we should see something around the sides. And there it is. Looks like it's just snuck by. A fantastic bid from the defender. And calm head to keep that one caught safely. It's easy to succumb to pressure there.
We'll see that one again. Big forehand with a little bit of bend. The bid goes, but Abby Liddell gets hands to it, keeps it in bounds. The score goes 1-1. DMT to come out on defense now. All we're seeing are downwind points. Again, those upwind breaks where the defense is able to apply enough pressure to turn the disc and then not turn it over themselves in the face of incredible wind and conditions that are seeking to tear their offensive aspirations apart.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see if that's indicative of how this game will go, because DMT struggled a little more putting in their downwind, whereas Equilibrium put it in instantly. It may be indicative, or it may just be both teams settling in, so we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Scott again with the disc to pull, captaining the defensive line, probably seeking to occupy the deep space as we've seen, using his experience and athleticism to just really control the back half of the field, shutting down any offensive long looks, considering that those downwind points are a lot easier to put up some big discs.
I've just noticed that Graydon Scott is number 7. I like that number a lot. It's a great pull, actually. He's kept this one slightly lower than his last one. Oh, just didn't quite make it back. Got good distance, though. It's a good sign when people can get that distance down the field, because if they actually get the angle right on the next one, you can see how far they're going to gain.
Connolly to pick up for Equilibrium. Harrison Free setting the mark in the cup. Big forehand goes up.
It's a fantastic grab, contested, and put it straight in. It's a nice shot to get it straight into the hands of the receiver. So again, we see Equilibrium with an incredibly efficient downwind point.
Gardner to Mason.
Yeah, Connolly was already pointing the field down. He knew what he wanted. He wanted it to go.
Huge forehand, goes up. We track across. Again, Scott looking to control that backspace. It's not quite enough. Immediately drops off to try and cover the next threat. But the disc slips back through. Equilibrium go up by another. A 1-point game. Equilibrium to come out on defense.
Yeah, we see some words from, looks like a coaching influence on the sideline there. Seems to be benefiting them this weekend since they've made it to the finals here and so far putting on a fantastic show. Lily again with the disc. He had a great pull last time with some fantastic distance, so hopefully we'll see the same again. It's hard to maintain consistency pulling into the wind though. A slight adjustment of angle and you disappear out of the field.
And here goes the pull. Big sand, a little bit of edge. Wind catches it, tips it down, doesn't get enough roll. Comes out on the sideline. But gives Equilibrium a wonderful opportunity to do the same thing that we've seen a lot of teams do this when the pulls have gone out of bounds, to set up a zone to try and trap the disc on that sideline, force a quick turn and potentially work it up themselves. And again, Scott sends the disc, it tips off the defender's fingers, goes high. DMT unable to recover it. Massive big put.
Straight to the defender here. Scott picks it up comfortably. It's likely
on the mark.
We'll send it back down the field here. Oh, this is a great flow by Dunedin mixed team. They're making their way down the outside and now shooting through the middle. It's just about collected by the DMT player in the back. That's a very close catch, very close. And that's the story of this weekend actually, is a lot of fumbles and bumbles and wind making exciting, uncertain moments.
Coggins climbing the ladder for the defense. Scott nearly cleaning it up. It's not quite enough. Lily on the near sideline now, looking to shift the zone. They've loosened up a little bit.
A great break from Lily. It's really important to get these big swings across the field to make it hard for the defenders.
Melissa McLeod.
Just a second of free throwing can make a huge difference, just so you can get that angle right for the wind.
Again, Lily hoping to get a read. Tips it to Coggins. Big flat send.
Yeah, well, that was a combination of what we've been talking about. You get bobbles and crazy things happening, and then a moment of free throwing, and these sort of throws go up.
Bunkenberg and Scott both have an attempt. A conversation being had about the possibility of contact. We'll see that one again.
Yeah, it looks like they might have just found his arm under the other arm as he tried to jump up. Had a bit of difficulty there with the elbow.
Seeking the perspective of the other players on the field. But again, considering how close Equilibrium would be to a score in that upwind break, if this call is resolved in their favour, it's very easy to understand that perhaps, certainly in other sports, you'd find the players getting quite heated about the importance of the call falling one way or the other. In the sport of ultimate, players prioritising respect for each other and respect for the rules and having those conversations themselves and maybe exhibiting a little bit of fair-mindedness, that if it's a bit touch and go, giving the benefit of the doubt to the offence or the person who was fouled.
Yeah, maintaining integrity in these tough situations is paramount.
So the signalling now that the foul call has been contested, which means the disc has to return to the last uncontested thrower. Coggins to regain possession, trying to find out where he was when the throw happened.
Yeah,
so he's taken a few steps backwards.
Yeah, a contested call can happen just where you have no agreement between the players on what exactly happened or who benefited, and so they just have to go back to a point of certainty. So Coggins here in the middle, tapping it in.
Massive fake, looking to shift the defense again.
One thing we are seeing is that the player in front of Coggins, the kind of defensive zone wall player, is actually quite far away, which means there are opportunities for hugging over that player, even though they will be high.
McLeod nearly gets a hand to it. DMT defender gets involved.
Oh, some miscommunication there between who the receiver was.
Middleton looks for a bid to try and keep the disc alive, but Equilibrium retake possession. Coggins has it.
Oh, fantastic break. This is exactly where you want to be in free space. If they can just keep the calm throws.
Larkin to Lily, looking
Fantastic
to shift the zone. Graydon Scott again reaching through the future to pull that one away. establishing some quick give-and-go momentum, gets the disc in power position, sends a powerful forehand huck. It's a little bit floaty. It goes out the back of the zone.
Yeah, this is exactly what we expect to see from Scott as well. Commanding defence in the deep, and then fantastic puts back down the other end. And I think that's, despite the failure to catch that one as it drifts out, I think that's a fantastic option for them. That territory is so hard to regain.
Again, Coggins and Lilly really quarterbacking the equilibrium offense at the moment. Coggins managing to get some really secure distance passes in this upwind. So he takes the disc to bring it back in. Resets to Lilly. Manages to shift the cup, gets back to Coggins. Finds McLeod. Far sideline, back to Coggins. Again, you have to respect that backhand. He's already put it on display, so those fakes are going to cause the mark to shift around. He sends it anyway, catches a bit of edge.
Yeah, it looks like a bit of a bailout option that's worked out well for him, actually.
Larkin finds it, resets to Bunkenberg, finds McLeod.
Yeah, there's always a little bit of luck involved with how these ones come down.
Coggins gets a second bid. Not enough. That's a turnover. DMT with an opportunity to tie up the game.
Oh, it's a big round pass. This might be collected. And can they put it in? Safe as houses. Fantastic. There we go. DMT putting it in, getting themselves on the board for their second point.
Wilson finds Middleton. Comfortable through pass to Scott for the score. DMT go up by 1. The score is now 2-2, a tied game. 14.5 minutes into our 90-minute soft cap. Equilibrium with a wonderful downfield opportunity. We've seen that they can capitalize comfortably on those. DMT with a potential upwind break ahead of them.
Yeah, we can also see Graydon Scott, not only a key player on the field, he's also a role model and leader here. He's definitely got a hand in the strategy for what the team is doing. It has been interesting to see their downwind where they've been taking a lot more across the field options and slowing things down a bit rather than just playing for territory. We'll have to see what their take is on the upwind.
So DMT about to come down on defense.
Oh, huge. Is that one going to stay in, or is it going to drift out? Yes, just in this time. Yeah, that's great. He's made it past halfway.
Harrison Free looking to set up the defensive zone again. The cup pressuring that disc back towards the far sideline as Connolly looks to initiate the equilibrium offense.
Yeah, Connolly's likely going to shoot deep here. He knows that territory is important. There it goes. Lots of bodies under it. Is it going to stay in? No, it just drifts out the back. You know, he's got a lot of experience, Mike Connolly, and he knows the importance of territory in this. If you get to halfway, all of a sudden those 50-50 shots might just come off.
But once again, Graydon Scott occupying that backspace, just playing enough pressure, using that and the fact that all downwind throws are going to go just a little bit longer than intended. Bunkenberg on the mark. A low release forehand. Finds Adler. Back to Scott. Massive rip. Backhand. It goes up. Wins cars to slow it. Connolly tips it. Connolly with another opportunity. He knows he can send it long. The cup is just about inviting that kind of throw. He does it anyway.
Oh, bouncing off hands, but it's definitely promising how many players were there and available for equilibrium.
DMT throw away their opportunity with a quick pass to an out of position receiver, maybe not ready for the disc. Connolly with another opportunity.
He might be looking at that back corner, sees a free player.
2 free players. Bunkenberg with the score. Equilibrium go up by 1, opening the game up 3-2 against DMT in the final match of our 2020 New Zealand Mixed Ultimate Championships Division 2 in Christchurch.
Yeah, Connolly's done super well to not only identify the free player there, but snake it past the mark. It was a break throw and lifted really well on the win, so he's done a fantastic job. I suspect we'll be seeing more of Bunkenberg there.
giving the signal that there should be 4 women, 3 men on the line in this mixed gender sport. DMT with another downwind opportunity. Both teams just trading now, 1 for 1 for 1, which favors the team that will come out on offense initially, as it allows them to take half. And considering the length of some of these points and the amount of defensive pressure that we're seeing, if we don't see a score that reaches beyond halfway, eventually the time will run out, and it creates a no-win opportunity for the team that started on defense. So those upwind breaks become more and more crucial as time goes on. The pull goes up from Lily, a lot of float on it, a lot of forward power. The wind catches it, pushes it back just short of passing the halfway mark. Scott to pick up.
Oh,
massive high forehand.
Well, Lily's just going to get a hand to it in time. Just safely saw that one away from the offensive player. That's good work by him, just covering that. You know it's coming, but it's really hard with the shifts in wind to actually be in the right place to stop it completely. We've seen a lot of times where we've had the deep defender in position and the wind just bobbles it straight past them. Here we see him walking up again, clearly a centerpiece of this upwind offense. Connolly's on the upwind line this time, and so we'll see what he can contribute to making it up against this strong headwind. McLeod again. Seen a lot of the small popping throughout the weekend, just trying to make any sort of headway you can, and that's exactly what we see after a few passes. It's quite hard to maintain consistency. Inevitably a little bit of wind catches it and you get a bobble.
So there's a fumble from McLeod leading to a turnover, an opportunity for DMT to close out, probably about 10 meters from the zone. We know that their players can make those kind of throws.
Oh, wide open in the middle, and this is a great point to center your offense for the end zone on. Unfortunately, just spied a free player and the defender ran through right at the same time.
Huge amount of edge.
Yeah, Mike Connolly played for territory there, but it didn't really work out.
Connolly on the mark, manages to thread one straight through to Middleton. Liddell on the far sideline with the disc.
Looking for some opportunities, but not finding anything, so we'll just be going across the field. Patient offense here, which I really like to see from DMT. There's no rush. They can play normal passes into the zone from here. So they just take their time with it and find the free players.
Wilson back to Scott. Marked out by Connolly. Huge zone that we're seeing from Equilibrium, but threading it straight through to Middleton for the score.
Yeah, fantastic movement there. Just giving some dynamicism to kind of keep the defence guessing and where to position. We can also see Graydon Scott. He charges across here and then cuts back, which leaves a little bit of uncertainty for Mike Connolly and gives this gap for Middleton to score in the middle.
DMT with another downward point, bring the score back to a 3-3. Both teams just trading now back and forwards like a fencing match. 21 minutes into the game. Some fraternization on screen at the moment between opposing forces. The two teams who have made it so far in this tournament, Dunedin mixed team originally seeded first, making their way through to the final. Just really, really cornerstone of their offense, pushing them, even in these conditions, to victory. Equilibrium with a couple of upset victories, where they may have been down by a few points, but were able to come back quickly, rallying ferociously.
Yeah, their path here was incredible, actually. They ended up winning the semi-final game on a Universe. Last point, they scored an upwind on Universe. That's incredible.
And that's the thing. So as we're pointing out, upwind breaks are crucial to winning games when the conditions are suboptimal. And so Equilibrium, they were able to win a game on an upwind break thus far. Can they do it again? Can they use that to unseat the top seed? Huge pull. Connolly to pick up. Massive backhand, high angle, very nice edge. It's going to fade right in, but there's no one underneath it to score from that.
That's a classic speculator. He knows that he doesn't want to be at his own brick mark. It's going all the way back down the other end of the field. And so Graydon Scott will start again from the goal line. You see the defence here looks kind of like a junk defence, halfway between a zone, halfway between match. Seems like they want to put enough pressure on the throwers and the resets and They're just happy to take away most of the easy options downfield.
Stiggers on the mark, applying enough pressure, forcing Graydon Scott to go low, creating a turn. Mike Connolly to pick up.
Just popped out.
Oh, just overcommitting. The collision of those two forces enough to cause the disc to come out of hands. DMT with another opportunity. A high backhand, a lot of blade, but it's still kept alive by DMT.
Nice find in the middle here. We've got some good movement from DMT coming forward up the field. They can keep finding these kind of piercing passes. Oh, it just snuck out the side of Sheridan's grip there.
She's had a lot of success in the previous game that we saw from DMT. Unlike her to drop a pass like that. Mike Connolly to pick up on the near sideline now.
Yeah, we could well see that crossfield shot to that back corner again.
Hammers goes up. Blocked.
Seen out well.
Looking for Stiggers in the back corner. Not able to get one there.
Yeah, that's a great effort. Alright, so we're starting again in the decidedly tough corner. There's very few options. Half your field's chopped off already, being on the sideline. They've done well to centre it, and this is opening up the field for them. Let's see if they can keep this moving around the defenders. Seems like the defenders are having a little bit of trouble keeping up and trying to position, so it looks like DMT might be able to manoeuvre through here. It's very hard to keep up the consistency in the win, but so far they're doing a fantastic job of it. If they can consolidate some of these games, reset to the throwers. Here we go. Graydon Scott wants to put it big. He knows he's within shooting range, or at least close to that end zone. Oh, fantastic gainers here. Sheridan's making some fantastic yards on the sideline with these cross-field passes giving them room around the defenders to gain. Scott's just going to hold on to it for a moment, look for any good opportunities, and then likely reset here to Liddell. Liddell,
high shot, comes off the hands of Sheridan. Manages to keep it alive despite the best efforts of Ong.
That's crucial for them to keep possession here. Now Graydon shot.
Bullet shot overthrown, but there's a bit of flow.
Waiting in the end zone. Huge point for DMT. We told you Graydon Scott was in shooting distance. He wound up and shot deep. It's been reeled in.
That is the first upwind break of the game. Potentially a game-winning break. Just rips, fires one straight through the middle. Connolly not marking the deepest player.
That's fantastic. Yeah, Olivia's back there waiting. Alton big carry. That's a fantastic job. She's positioned just far enough to be outside of Mike Connolly. And Mike Connolly had assumed that the wind would save him if that shot came. Unfortunately, Graydon Scott has proven his throwing ability, and he's just snuck that one past.
Some of those previous games seem to have warmed him up nicely for those upwind points. DMT now with a downwind point, knowing that they can come down on a comfortable zone defense to really pressure the equilibrium offense. Those long options, Mike Connolly's big, long forehand, not going to do him as well. So he hasn't taken the field. We're seeing the offensive line, Lilly, Bunkenberg and the like, to take the field, try and work that upwind.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see a really fired up Dunedin mixed team here. They are a team of energy for sure, and this is going to get them going.
Absolutely. Those breaks do a huge amount in terms of keeping a team energetic and feeling confident. And it's a potential huge downwind opportunity for them to score. The disc maybe about 6 meters from the zone. Coggins looking to center to Lilly. Calling players under. Goes right past the hands of the receiver.
Payne here with the disc, just looking for something nice.
Low shot to Liddell. Winds up beforehand, gets one off. It's a high option. Goes out of bounds.
Yeah, just drifting out with the wind there, but you could see that there were two players open in that area, so the option taking was good. It's just hard to get that execution right in the wind.
Absolutely. DMT immediately switching back to a defensive mentality, looking to establish a zone. Middleton going to be on the mark, applying as much pressure as possible to Coggins. His offside is broad. And Ursum just looking to provide a pressure and take away anything that Middleton himself isn't able to. Pinching it on that sideline, forcing a big shot from a backhand, but Tips off the hands of the Equilibrium receiver.
Fantastic find to get anything down that line by Coggins. Well read there by Middleton. He's just comfortably caught that.
Beautiful score. DMT will be very pleased with themselves, going back-to-back points after an upwind break to open the lead up to 2 points as we enter the 28th minute of the game.
Yeah, this is a scary point for Equilibrium because they've just seen that Dunedin mixed team can play the upwind, and they will be worried because if another upwind comes out, it's a huge hill to climb to get back into it.
Absolutely. We're seeing a lot of these downwind points come off the back of upwind points as well. If you're able to score an upwind break, not only do you have the energetic and psychological momentum, but you also have the wind at your back, and it's very, very easy to capitalize on that energy and just push a little bit harder to really secure that downwind point, widening up the score by 2. If we see another upwind break and we see DMT go 6-3 against Equilibrium, there's another potential downwind right after that, widening the score margin to 4. And in this condition, with these amount of winds, as the wind is picking up, it becomes that much harder for the team on the lower end of the scoreboard to really claw it back.
Yeah, undeniably so. It's also the the focus of what you're trying to do sometimes adjusts. If you find yourself up in quite a few points, you can really crack down hard on that defense and just try and make them throw as many throws as possible. And it can become really tough when the team is just trying to bide their time and sit on their lead.
The benefit of, as well, I think, DMT making that previous upwind break is that it means Mike Connolly is going to have to play a lot more honest defense, knowing that once they hit that red zone, Graydon Scott can close it off. He can finish it off. And so that might find Connolly out in a different position, or maybe less flexible in terms of what he's able to do defensively, because he knows he has to mark that deep play to stop Graydon Scott getting that easy shot off over the top. A long throw goes down, received on the far sideline.
Yeah,
Sean
Gardner. Connolly centered again. He's been dangerous so far with that forehand, and yet again he slides it in.
Connolly to Bunkenberg for the score.
Yeah.
Back to a 1-point game, but now Equilibrium looking for a potential upward break of their own.
Yeah, and that was the connection where we were expecting to see more of. The Bunkenberg seems to be positioning himself really well in that end zone and providing great options for Connolly's experience to shoot through to. Seems to be a lot of high spirits out there still. A lot of people enjoying themselves, so we've got probably another 60 minutes of good play ahead of us, so that's exciting. It's definitely a huge challenge to get to that 15-point score limit.
Particularly in these conditions, when the points just take that much longer, because the wind punishes anything less than perfect execution. Those throws that come through, particularly on the downwinds, normally fine. You can have long passes, you can have good completions that gain a lot of yards, you can have 1-2 pass offenses, but if you make a mistake in this wind, if you overthrow, if you're out of position, then it's the defense's chance to just have an upwind slog, and as long as they're patient, they can retain position for a very, very long time. But trying to mark that out entirely can take a lot out of you. It can really set the fatigue. And Lily with a big roller pole that crosses the halfway line, giving Equilibrium a beautiful opportunity to set up a zone defense, really trapping the DMT offense on the far line.
Yeah, it's a fantastic ball, actually. It's got just far enough, and it's given them a lot of time to set up exactly what they want to do for defense. It's on Dunedin now to kind of make something happen. And if they do turn it halfway, it's definitely a good opportunity for Equilibrium.
Liddell centers. Finds Wilson. Back to Liddell. Bit wobbly, but she keeps it secure. Forehand over the top of the cup, over the top of the players. Finds ground just as those DMT offense. Oldenburg carry looking to take a bite. Not getting there in time. Middleton on the zone now. Coggins to pick up. Lily looking to crash the cup. Getting edged out. They managed to open some space, sending it through. Finds Larkin. High backhand.
It's a great attempt there. Couldn't quite pull that one down. It was great movement by Lily just to drag that wall enough to get a shot through the middle for Coggins. You can see Wilson just in the middle, taking his time.
Trying to signal where he wants his players to go. Wilson, Liddell again, shifts on.
Yeah, they're still clearly comfortable playing together.
Big backhand. Comes off Middleton as he jumps to try and grab it. Coggins there to help make sure that there's no attempt at a second bid. Resets to the center, finds McLeod. Lily on the far sideline. Shifts the defense.
Yeah, Equilibrium are going to have to find an answer to come back to this side of the field. They keep getting pushed pretty consistently over, taking that free pass, but it's free for a reason. DMT want it on that sideline, so forced passes like that are hard to catch.
Stiggers with a cold drop. Lily back on the mark, trying to pressure that defense. Wilson taking the disc nearer the center of the field, looking for something.
Nothing coming though. Looks like a solid defense from the downfield, and they kind of can't find anything, and it has to be a speculator put up. It's half field turn for Equilibrium. There's a potential here.
Middleton looking to set up on the mark. The cornerstone, the centerpiece of that cup, really just taking away the main throws that a normal mark would, and having those other two players just apply a bit of pressure to narrow the thrower's field of vision. Coggins with a scuba over the top to Lily, getting behind the cup, back through, finds Coggins' long shot. A little bit more attack on the disc from McLeod, might have kept that alive. A little
this
slow.
Is a play for territory here. All the way down, won't quite find any receivers. Fantastic though to get it down there.
Absolutely, a little bit more edge, might have had it curved back in for Liddell, but it wasn't there. Coggins chasing it down anyway, manages to pick it up, setting up in the back corner. Lily making a lot of movement, having to crash that cup. Doesn't happen.
Oh, just keeps that one up. It's a fantastic effort to keep it alive. A high release forehand downwind is very hard to grab. An interesting choice here by Dunedin is that their front of the wall, kind of in the way of the hucks, is actually moving around a lot, and sometimes there's these gaps to shoot through. They're clearly trusting their deep defender, who's also just called a timeout.
So Wilson called a timeout again. We are 9 points into this game, but 34 minutes, which means that each point's averaging somewhere around the 4-minute mark. Now, 4 minutes of standing around might seem like something relatively easy, but these players are not standing around. There's constant movement. There's constant explosive little cuts, a few steps at a time, decelerating, moving back in the other direction. Lots of movement, lots of intensity. And so that's a very good time to call a timeout. Just give everyone just a few seconds to catch their breath, to reconsolidate strategy, to figure out what their options are, maybe adjusting things on the fly, particularly if the defense are taking something away that the offense are really hoping to capitalize on. Just using this time to think, how can we break around them? How can we get this to work the way we want?
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing is that we see some key players here. Graydon Scott's played a lot of points. We've seen Connolly on a lot. We've seen Lily on a lot as well. There's definitely some key players, and you want to keep them fresh as well. Like, if they are the people that can unlock that offense for you, this is a final and you need them there and ready and feeling good. We see Graydon Scott is also talking in the circle. He's taking a big role here. And his counterpart in the other circle, of course, Mike Connolly, standing in the middle, giving a big demonstration of what he wants to see on the field. It might be that they're discussing how to attack through this wall that we've been seeing from the Dunedin team, actually. Looks like Coggins has been given some tips on how to maneuver around it, perhaps.
DMT looking to be the first to break the huddle, using the last seconds of the timeout to really hype themselves up, get that energy in as they come back on offense.
Yeah, that's a huge part of the Dunedin team's game, actually, is this high energy that they play with. They bring a lot of intensity, a lot of fire, and it's huge for them. They get some plays that you just wouldn't expect because they're trying so hard and playing so hard with each other and for each other.
So DMT, when the disc comes back in, or comes nearing play, they will establish their offense first, at which point the Equilibrium defense can set up however they want around that offense before the disc is checked in and play resumes. We can see it looks to be setting up a vertical stack.
Yeah, a lot of discussion here from the defense on how quite they want to set up to block this. At least just double checking everyone's set. Looks like we're ready to go. Immediately centered. This is exactly where they want to be to attack an end zone, right in the middle, lots of options. We've just got to see some movement now from the downfield to really open up something dangerous.
Liddell with the disc, centre field. Looks for a reset.
Nothing going. Very patient here from the Dunedin team, and they find, ooh, a bit of a fumble, but Middleton re-grabs it. Yeah, they find that gap that they were looking for.
Again, widening the score up to 6-4 in favour of the Dunedin mixed team. We know they've been able to make an upwind break before. Can they do it again? In this, a final, a game to 15. We see the DMT team riding high, taking a few moments to rehydrate, a cheeky bottle flip, celebrating that catch as Equilibrium give the signals that it is a 4 ladies point. DMT talking strategy, just taking a few moments to figure out what exactly they're going to do. We see Harrison free on the line. Amelia Mance looks that they'll set up probably that same cup zone. Harrison free, putting a huge amount of pressure on the mark, leaving Grayson Scott in the backspace.
Yeah, this is a really dangerous upwind line that they've put on here. I was watching some of the games earlier, and Free is a key receiver for them in the deep. Scott's been putting a lot of stuff up, and Free just pulls it down. We also see the throwing strength in Sheridan as well, so they've got a good opportunity to put in another upwind if they really focus in. Well, that's a high pull. That might be coming back to them, but
looks to be dropping almost dead on the center of the field. Loses a few meters, but will return at the halfway mark. Brought in at the edge, the far sideline by Mike Connolly. Once again, we do see Harrison free. Rather than that 3-person cup directing towards the sideline, we're seeing an arrowhead formation. Amelia Mance looking to stop the disc moving laterally across the field. Grayson Scott involved in the cup this time.
Yeah, comfortable defend there. The shot came out, but defenders got under it nice and early. So once again, we see the Sheridan-Scott combo at the back, kind of making the patient passes to get up the field here. And then we will wait to see if that big shot comes out at some point. It's always a threat. Big fake from Sheridan.
Sarah Silverman flashing the lane, trying to stop that next throw while not actively marking the player.
Got Adler sharking around behind, just seeing if he can find anything. Might get the swing across wide, but no, there's not too much going. And they're having some trouble finding progress forward, but it's okay that they're just throwing back and forth, settling in here. It'll come eventually.
Massive big rip from Scott, that we love to see it.
This is what we're talking about. Scott to free, and he's done it. He's pulled it down in front of Mike Connolly. If he can find that next connection. Conservation of greatness there, perhaps.
Mason makes sure that that disc goes back to the Equilibrium hands, but as you said, Free represents one of the power receivers when Scott has disc going upwind. Connolly picks it up, massive attempt. Bunkenberg goes up, tries to take a couple of steps towards the sky. It's not enough. It comes off the fingertips. We'll see that again. Big, meaty backhand with the wind, pushing it downfield. It curls off the fingers and throws itself in the wrong direction for him to take a second attempt. Sheridan with the disc now, far sideline.
Yeah, more of the same from DMT, and I like this. Patient offense. They're happy to just play with it, hold the disc, and then when they see that opportunity in the deep, they can hit Free. He's absolutely a reliable receiver, even in tough conditions. And they're happy living with the disc, which is really impressive given the conditions and the wind that they're playing in. Fortunately, just a little fumble there.
Tumbles off Scott's fingers. Connolly to pick up, Free again on that mark. Amelia Mance looking to take away any lateral throws. Looks like a 2-person cup, more handler poaching than any specific zone structure there.
Yeah, it does look like they've put Mance in kind of an interesting spot. Well, just going over that back, but Scott cleans it up, safe. Yeah, it looked like Mance was in a position there to stop kind of around shots that might lift with the wind, just to get a dabble and force it up just high enough to ruin it.
Grayson's gone in, marked by Bunkenberg on the far corner, the far sideline.
This is an adjustment from Equilibrium. They've got this player directly in front.
A low shot, Adler keeps it off the turf.
Oh, he just went with it too soon. Had to stand up and go with a proper pivot throw there, it seems. Straight back on the mark though, Manson free.
Connolly with a big backhand, curving around the near side of the field.
Oh, it seems that Gardner may have slipped as that throw went up, and he managed to recover his feet in time to grab it.
That is, if I'm correct, 2 scores. Connolly 2, Gardner over the top of Scott.
Yeah, it's just lifted slightly over the defender there. You could see he was prepping to jump, and the wind should have lifted it far enough.
So 6-5 now, only a 1-point game. Equilibrium to come out on defense, moving upwind. A very, very difficult spot for them to be in, but there's only 1 point behind. The narrowness of the margin might be enough to give them that hunger, that competitive edge to push upwind and tie the game. 43 minutes into our 90-minute soft cap.
Yeah, it's approaching halfway through the time. It's a long game for sure. It's gonna come down to focus at the end here. It's actually quite important to keep focus on the defense, because if you slack a little bit on that defense when the other team's going upwind, they can sneak a couple past on you, and it becomes a real dangerous problem. See Moslelli again. I believe Gardner's still on the field. He's fired up, so that's great. We can use his energy.
Lily with the pull. A big sand, high edge comes down just in front. A little bit of, not a lot of roll at all. Comes down on the Equilibrium's defensive half. Scott to pick up, looking to send something big. There's nothing coming, so has to look for a reset. Swings across to Liddell.
Very zony situation here. They might just be looking for those gaps that eventuate.
Larkin nearly with a run through D, but Liddell keeps hands to it. Shifting the marker, big swing across.
Yeah, Scott just patiently waited in space.
Straight through to Middleton, no surprises there. A beautiful score for DMT to widen it up back to 7-5.
Yeah, they're looking comfy out there. They're just patient, took the time, found something free, and then here we go. One fake, score.
A huge fake just to make that defender overcommit, widen up that throwing channel so that Scott can hit his intended receiver.
Yeah, Middleton's been playing really well. He's playing a key role here at the moment. A lot of these great downwind receives.
So again, only 2 points in the game. DMT, so far, the only team to have made an upwind break, I believe. Can they do it again? Can they widen up? Slipping the Frisbee chisel into the ironclad defense that Equilibrium has shown us so far. Only a single crack up until this point. DMT seeking any opportunity to widen that up and secure themselves a final. This is their first season as a team, I believe. There's players with a lot of experience from a variety of other clubs, but this is the first time they've ever come together as the Dunedin mixed team. For them to walk away with a Division 2 championship would be a big deal. And most importantly, it would also secure an additional bid for the southern region to send a team to the 2021 Mixed Ultimate Championships Division 1.
Yeah, it would be huge. It would be important. We have seen a lot of southern teams in the top 3 and 4 at the moment, and so it does look like they're deserving. Hopefully Dunedin can really prove it here. It's been fantastic upwind play by them so far, and just a couple of fumbles holding them back from another shot at the end zone, so hopefully we can see it here.
Connolly still managing to sneak one downwind. Stiggers to Connolly. Stiggers again. Big hammer fake. Marked out by Adler. A lot of defensive pressure. Has to send a backhand that goes a little high, but Connolly picks it up. Sends one through the middle. Finds McNee, but McNee finds the ground.
Yeah, it's tough when that wind pushes that disc down. It's just hard to anticipate. Well, Scott is not happy with that one, I'm sure.
Palmer goes up to secure the defense, making sure no DMT player gets a bit on it. Adler on the mark. Connolly in the red zone where he can do the most damage.
Yeah, interesting choice by DMT there. They kept their zone rather than a strict match mark all the way to the end zone. And it's effective further down the field because you can generate turns, but little passes like this through can be your undoing.
Absolutely. So typically you would see a zone defense look to switch back to a person defense as you approach that end zone. You're looking to target specific threats, make sure that you can't have one player running between 2 defenders and neither of them committing to taking that player. which can cause problems, or you can have both of those zone defenders targeting that same player, which leaves another player somewhere else in the field unmarked. So switching back to match defense gives a great opportunity to make sure that every player is accounted for, and typically is used to shut down those very short isolation plays.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be quite dangerous when you first transition, but it was unusual we didn't see it after a big long turn. Here we see Lily again with the disc, preparing for that tough upwind.
The score 7-6, DMT to take possession after the pull. We have not seen many pulls go past halfway, which is making the job of the offense easier. Again, maybe 30, 35 meters for DMT to have to work the disc down instead of a typical 60 plus. Bunkenberg on the mark, those long limbs looking to pressure Adler. It's not enough. Finds Mance, swings around to Liddell. Mance again outside the lanky limbs of the outstretched Bunkenberg. Liddell near sideline now.
Yeah, we see the downfield's a little bit static. They're not quite sure what they're after here. I think it might have been a lot of big throws and then playing defense this weekend, and they're familiarizing with how to find these gaps. Unfortunate bobble here, but that's okay. They'll set up in their same zone, try and block this upwind. Nice recovery there. Just looking for that little pop through to Lily. It's just gone up and drifted over.
DMT now, Mance to pick up. Quick pass to Liddell, unmarked. Hammer goes off. You do love to see it. A beautiful score. Middleton again, almost unstoppable as a receiver in that attacking zone. The score goes 8-6 now. Beautiful hammer.
Beautiful, beautiful throw by Liddell.
And as the score goes 8-6, DMT take half. Beautiful start to that first half. There's still only 2 points in it. It is anyone's game, but there's no denying the psychological advantage conferred to Dunedin mixed team as they hit the 8-point mark first. My name is Blair Monroe.
And I'm Toby Sutherland.
And we will be back with your second half shortly. We are back as DMT and Equilibrium are about to start the second half of the final match of the 2020 Division 2 New Zealand Mixed Ultimate Championships in beautiful Christchurch. It has been a windy weekend, but Equilibrium open the second half with a pull from Lily. It goes out of bounds. DMT to bring the disc in on the sideline.
Yeah, he's playing with the disc. He's centering. No, hasn't found anything. He wants to center, but he might just end up looking downfield. Finds a perfect gap in the middle with Liddell. I believe that's Alaguna passing to the sideline, and Payne loses his feet.
So my name is Blair Monroe again. I'm here with Toby Sutherland. How do you feel after the first half of this game, Toby?
I'm actually super excited to see what comes out. We've seen some really good upwind play so far. Coggins with the disc and Mike Connolly now with the disc have been putting up some great shots into the wind, and both teams have been demonstrating just some good frisbee, patience with the disc, and I'm excited to see what comes out.
Beautiful reset to Coggins, a nice few meters gained. DMT coming down in the zone. Middleton, one of the key scorers for DMT in this game, applying pressure on the mark to Connolly.
Yeah, now, Equilibrium within striking distance of this end zone. This is obviously a high stalk out now, and it's going to go to turf, which is an unfortunate turn for them. They were getting close to that point where they can take that shot just hitting the end zone.
Wilson looking to pick up the disc, marked by Connolly. Manages to swing back, finds Payne in the centre field. Connolly and Larkin applying as much defensive pressure as they can. Wilson takes the disc again. Big commit to shift the defense. A collision looks to have interfered, but no call made.
Seems like the turn stands. This is close field for Equilibrium. Let's find out if they can capitalize on it. They're putting the pass up. Just drifted back a little bit. Lily looking for that final pass.
Had that option, looked off. Had an option to Ong in the far corner. Looks to send to Larkin, and it goes just that little bit low. She dives, it's not enough. Wilson with the big spin, puts up a forehand. Monster of a thing, just outside Middleton's range.
Yeah, and I think that had to go. I'm surprised they didn't do it before that, actually. Playing around at your own brick mark in these conditions is really playing with fire. And I'm glad to see it send back down this end.
Connolly to bring the disc in on the sideline. Has a very, very powerful throwing arsenal, but working upwind is going to arrest the potential gains that he can make. Larkin making a nice cut towards the zone. Coggins crashing through. Just a little bit clogged, a little bit timing, miscommunications, not quite there, but they're able to reset to Coggins anyway. Breaks through the zone. Nice bid by Payne, but it's not enough. Connolly retains possession. Yeah,
it's the third one we've seen just go straight down the sideline, actually, and it's something that they've got to fix. There's yet another. It's a decision for Dunedin, how they position their wall, whether that's the wing or whether that's the wall that takes it. It seems that they're able to repeat this over and over down that sideline. It might just make it to the end zone at this rate.
We've seen Ethos do the same in an earlier game in that far sideline. Forced in by a 3 or 4 person cup and just making really clever, small 1-2 meter gains. Connolly now in charge of the disc. Manages to cut one through to Coggins. Only 5 meters away from the end zone now. Huge pressure from the zone. Larkin trying to cut through. Connolly cutting through, getting the disc.
Yeah, there might be some inexperience in that open side wall, actually, because a lot of yells from the sideline to cut that pass off that we've been seeing over and over, and yet it goes through again. They're just looking for that final seal here.
Coggins has it. Just trying to shift the mark. Connolly right on the edge of the zone. Looking for anything. Can't get rid of the disc. Managing to push Middleton out of the way. Has to send something up. It gets tipped off the fingers. Wilson, not content to score the D, has to have a second attempt to make sure the disc finds the ground.
Best to secure that, and I'm assuming we'll see him send it all the way back.
The sheer intensity displayed, refusing to let the Equilibrium offense catch that. Liddell takes it over Silverman. A big forehand huck straight to the hands of Coggins. Middleton was there, but out of position slightly. Connolly toes it, keeps it in bounds on the near sideline now. Rips an angled backhand up. Wilson again refusing to let this point die, wanting to go up by 3, not content to allow the Equilibrium offense to come through. Big shot, Pulled in by Middleton, right near the zone. Coggins
Yeah.
now applying pressure.
It's a great calming effect there from Middleton. Just putting his hand out, letting his team know that he's calm and collected and they can be relaxed too. No rush here.
Payne to Wilson. Big high backhand, a lot of angle, but it's catchable.
Oof, just out of reach from Altenberg Carey there. Well done to be in position for that sort of throw. It's an option we've seen a lot this weekend, these kind of around shots. Just kind of lift with the wind and find those back of the end zone players.
Absolutely, and with the DMT offense on this D-line being able to shift the mark as they can, it just makes things that much harder, that much more demoralizing for the Equilibrium offense here. Shift the mark, once they're moved, just power a shot down the far end, and any progress that Equilibrium spend minutes just painstakingly scraping their way up the field, undone in an instant. Lilly in the center field with the disc.
Yeah, that is the reality of it. It's such a tough effort to get back up to the top of the field. It's clear that they've found a way through though, and we'll see if the Dunedin mixed team are going to plug that gap. It seems they've gone back to their assassin there. It's just generated a turn, in fact.
Trying to reset over the top of the cup. It's not quite enough. Coggins was an option.
Oh, he regained his feet just in time to dive and get a piece of that, just enough to defend it. Fantastic effort there from Coggins.
Again, Middleton sneaking in with a high five. Game, recognizing game. Connolly to pick up, bring the disc to the front of the zone. Many bids, Liddell managing to tip it up. Connolly keeps it alive though, so Equilibrium retain possession, finds Lilly. Connolly again.
The throwers here are finding themselves with a lot of room sometimes when this defense breaks down, but they're unable to capitalize just because the fast passes are not quite as secure as they might need.
Lilly to Coggins, to Connolly, far sideline, big backhand, a lot of edge, lands out of bounds, so it needs to come back in where it first crossed the line. So as big as that throw might have been in the upwind, it has not gained Equilibrium as much space as they would hope. DMT still within their own half. Probably close to a quarter of the field that they have to take through, maybe about 18 to 20 meters. Wilson to pick up, marked by Connolly on the far sideline. Sends a beautiful forehand, high, floaty to no one.
Oh, out the back. Yeah, that's too much tamale on that one. Well, I guess they'll go find another disc. I don't think anyone will be waiting for that to be collected.
There's offense, there's defense, and there's that disc going over the fence.
Yeah, here we go again with Connolly in the middle.
Coggins again on a nice undercut, managing to receive on the near sideline, marked up by Middleton. A low forehand attempt where the edge goes up. It looks like a hospital pass, everybody beneath it. Connolly keeps it.
Oh,
Low to Lilly on the near sideline, a beautiful break throw.
He's doing a great job to get through this cup, just to give them some options around the defense. Unfortunately, there's not quite enough time to send something down that sideline because it's so hard to collect these throws and securely have them in your hands ready to throw.
Mason to Coggins.
They find themselves yet again on this sideline that they're oh so familiar with, constantly being pushed there.
High angle backhand just outside of Lilly's grasp. He goes to ground to try and keep it. It's not quite timed right. And so now DMT, 15 meters from the red zone.
Liddell picking up. We see Altenberg Carey with a hand, feeling free out the back there. It might go over. It's gone. Altenberg Carey just snuck up with the wind there, lifted over too far.
A little bit much edge, changing the flight path as we go. It makes it that much harder to get into position, and the wind just carries it out the back of the field. It's textbook ultimate. Sorry about that throw. No, it's my fault I didn't catch it.
Yeah, we see that a lot, actually. Everyone's happy to take blame.
But now DMT, a wonderful position for them. That same zone offense, a hard upwind point for Equilibrium. Connolly to pick up, just taking his time getting to the front of the zone, making sure that his teammates have plenty of time to get their breath back after what is just a series of back and forth throws, catches, interceptions.
Yeah, Connolly's looking for that same breakthrow, and now Lilly actually does get some time to throw a next one. Unfortunately, there's not too much else going downfield.
Larkin back to Lilly, to Connolly. Low to Coggins, putting a little bit of air bounce on it. So the disc sweeping up in its flight path.
He found a gap there. Fantastic grab by Larkin to keep that one up. Just looking for that reset now so they can consolidate those gains, back to those strong throws.
Coggins, Colony.
Well, they're in shooting range now. They've got to watch out. Oh, he's just lost focus on one little backhand that's popped up. Nice attempt to pop it back. Unfortunately, already out of the field, though.
And so Wilson marked by Connolly.
Oh,
Fine.
that's a short field turn. This is huge. Connolly might just put it here.
A
Disc is
big
up.
upwind.
Oh, that's an upwind point for Equilibrium. That's a huge
Larkin
point.
take it. That's one upwind break apiece. The score going 8-7, still in favour of DMT, but with a wonderful opportunity as DMT are now forced to work the disc upwheeled on offense. Upwheeled, upwind, and upfield. Equilibrium with a potential comfortable break. Their zone is certainly generating turns. And then just a short portion of the field potentially to consolidate that, bringing the score back to 8-8.
Yeah, I have to fault the offensive choice there. They decided to go for something across the field rather than just getting it down and just setting them back. It's always a really risky maneuver if you're going to give, especially Mike Connolly, a short field to shoot from, and they were punished for it.
Connolly more than pleased with himself. The closest thing he's managed to a smile all game. Looks to field the disc on defense.
Yeah, we're 67 minutes in, almost 68 minutes in now. We're a large portion of the way through the game, so there's only so much play left. There's definitely still time for teams to make these upwind points, but it will come down to potentially who's up when the soft cap hits and whether they can make the upwind point at that time.
A high outside backhand. Curving back, hits the ground, a nice roll, but it's managed to be arrested by the DMT offense.
Yeah, this is a familiar group we see at the back here.
Sheridan, Mance, Scott. Threads through to Adler. Back to Sheridan on the near sideline. Shifts Bunkenberg out of the way, gets one through to Mance. Back to Sheridan. Gardner, one of the stars that we've seen on this equilibrium line. On the wrong side of the field to start making plays. Scott's got it.
Yeah, DMT's having some trouble here. Big gusts coming through and they're kind of uncertain with the disc. That's great find through. Some really big gains. Adler here with a great collection. He's just going to reset back and they're going to try and figure out what to do from here.
Number 99, Yo, on some very strong low release forehands. We've been seeing them all game. They're really shifting the marks, getting around them. Mance back to Scott. Back to Mance, Sheridan on the near sideline. Big fake, gets a bite. Gardner's out of position. Shifts back to Mance.
Yeah, we find ourselves in the middle here again. It's just patient play. We love to see it. They just need to find another punch through. Just an unfortunate drop of the disc there. Just kept it out of Scott's grasp.
It looked like those hands closed just before. Came off the fingertips. Equilibrium now, great downfield opportunity. Connolly with the disc.
They haven't found too much though.
We know he can close this one out. Thine on the far sideline. Big fake resets to Connolly.
It's that same Bunkenberg in that corner. He's looking for it. Connolly's looking for something else this time though.
Free applying massive pressure, but the backhand has to go up anyway. Bunkenberg nowhere near enough.
Yeah, we might have seen some discomfort with the change in force there. It looked like Connolly wasn't quite so happy with that backhand shot as opposed to that forehand he was favouring earlier.
DMT now an upwind point ahead of them.
Yeah, we might need to see a little more sharking around behind these defensive players, just for shorter passes, just to move them around a little bit. They don't necessarily have to be the throwing option, but just to convince that defense to move. We see Gardner right in the lane there, and it's causing some issues for them.
Mance in Callahan country. There was the bite. It's not quite enough.
Yo with the disc. Centers again to Sheridan.
Straight through the middle.
Just not quite finding Adler there. He was looking for a cheeky through pass just to get past that defense.
And enough pressure from McLeod to secure it. Scuba goes over the top. for a beautiful score. McConnelly, or Connolly to Gardner, rather.
Yeah, Gardner yet again finding himself in the end zone with the disc in hand.
This is the one. Immediate scuba release. Caught despite 2 impending DMT defenders. It's not enough. The score goes 8-8. It's anyone's game. So far, every upwind break we've seen has been immediately followed by a downwind score.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to get those. We see it's far and few between with the upwind points, but both teams have demonstrated the ability to do so now, and it's coming down to that focus on defense that we were talking about, where you really have to be paying attention to what you're doing to prevent them coming up the field towards you.
So Lilly to come out now on defense. Bunkenberg, Silverman, Stiggers.
Yeah, we can still see it's very windy. There's a lot of rippling on the clothes still. The trees are going for it in the background, we can see out here.
Lilly with a monster pull. Catches edge. Looks to roll past the halfway mark. A very nice roll, all things considered.
It's rolled favourably so far. It's just going to be stopped just past the halfway.
Bunkenberg's big wings hoping to shut down Sheridan's throws. Not quite there. Scott receives it in the centre field. Big forehand goes up. Overthrown one more time.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Middleton was in the right kind of spot. It's just drifting too far with the wind there. But I think that's still a good option, you know. You want to put them down there, you give yourself the opportunity to get a short field turn, and then you can just punch it in. They definitely have the throws to be able to put it in from 10 metres away.
Moss Lilly, number 18, bringing the disc to the front of the end zone one more time, marked by Scott. Taking himself out of the deep space instead, looking to apply a lot of pressure to the mark. DMT now with a crucial opportunity. Big backhand goes up. Once again, the expectation that Middleton in the zone is an instant score, but these throws need to be connected in order for that to happen.
I believe he is if you keep it in the field. So far we've seen him rain everything, and just need to keep that down. The outside edge is creeping up a little, and these are lifting away from the players.
McLeod for equilibrium with the disc. Marked by Abby Liddell, number 18 on the DMT line. Very confident thrower, a key part of what offense they're able to put out.
Oh, fantastic pressure there by
6, 7 attempts at that disc for Silverman to keep it alive. Mossley takes the skies, gets one. Big shot goes up despite the upwind pressure. Bunkenberg catches it just inside. Another upwind break on the cards potentially. 5 meters out from the zone. Now is the time. Resets to McLeod.
Yeah, we've got to see some
by Liddell.
frantic defense here from DMT. This is a really dangerous place to give away any free passes.
Lilly with a cut. Scott with the bid. It's not enough. Some people cheering, some people... Oh, it is confirmed a point. Palmer with the run-through score. Lilly making a good cut. Scott making a bid, landing up on the ground, out of position, giving Lilly just enough time to secure that.
This is an incredible effort from Lilly. A large portion of the gains made up this field were due to his forehand that he managed to fire up here. It came out reasonably quickly, and it just had just enough angle to hold in the wind, kept flat long enough for Bunkenberg to get under it.
Absolutely. Great pressure by Ernst to force that out of field just as Palmer was getting hands to it. Equilibrium to come out after their second upwind break of the game. Connolly, that power thrower, to take the line.
Yeah, DMT have time left to do something. There's still 15 minutes before soft cap, so there's definitely potential for some more upwinds, but it does show us the importance of putting away your downwind points. You know, they had a couple of opportunities and they just lifted them slightly too far, and now they're paying the price. If you give them enough upwind chances, they'll put one of them away. You see Connolly just composing himself for this next point.
Looking to send the pull. Huge shot goes up.
It's a massive pull. Scott's catching that, which I find very impressive given the conditions.
Sheridan to Mance. Sheridan again on, getting shifted. Mance with a very one-handed grab.
Yeah, these pair of ladies are doing a fantastic job in the middle here, just moving the disc repeatedly. It's just unfortunate we haven't found any connections downfield. There seems to be a bit of a disconnect where the receivers for the Dunedin mixed team are just slightly too far away, and it's kind of two separate teams at the moment. There's the handlers and then there's the receivers.
And that is a big throw to no one. Connolly with a golden opportunity now, sends the backhand. Gardner again goes up for it. Nice forehand through. A downwind hold. It's exactly what we wanted to see from them. Terry Lee Wickens to keep the score.
Yeah, that's fantastic work by Gardner. He just fires it through. It was just unexpected there from Liddell, and it could have got a hand to it perhaps if she'd expected that one to come out a bit sooner.
The score 10-8 in favour of Equilibrium. 2 upwind breaks followed immediately by downwind breaks. Beautiful performance by Equilibrium, the Central team, who have so far had a path to the finals absolutely paved with upsets. DMT started initially strong. It's still anyone's game, but for them to score an upwind break and then a second downwind break immediately following it to go up by 2 and have that lead reversed, I don't know who saw it coming except for possibly Equilibrium themselves.
Yeah, I think Equilibrium had definitely been showing enough promise that you might have seen this one coming. It's been a lot of fights to get up the field, and we saw a couple of really close calls on the end zone lines, and so it almost feels deserved. But I think there's definitely some clarity of game plan required from DMT to reaffirm that they really are looking for that territory and really punish those kind of hard upwind conditions.
Moss Lily with the pull. Keeps it low. Touches inbounds, rolls out just shy of the halfway mark. DMT with a great opportunity now.
I would like to see DMT just be really assertive with this one and just try and put it in. It's one of these things where they've only got so much time left to play with, and if they hold on for it too long, just kind of playing to the disc back and forth, they might find themselves without enough time to make their upwind.
Liston finds Scott to Mance. Big fakes, moving the defense, threading one through. Liston on the far sideline, centering to Scott. Very touch and go, very low catch. Bids by the defense, not quite enough. Mance looking for something.
There's definitely gaps
hoping
here.
To thread one through.
We've definitely seen some players gathering up around the disc. If they can just find these little gaps behind the defenders. We see Alaguna just behind there in a gap. If they can just find one round. There we go, finding a little bit of space. Just some patience here to put this in would be oh, that's an unfortunate just bobble in the wind.
Not like the Mance we've seen thus far. Coggins to pick up and begin the upwind drive to see if Equilibrium can further consolidate. It's not there. Middleton with a quick backhand. Coggins back on defense.
Yeah, we see that the Scott Middleton pair is definitely better with Scott throwing, Middleton receiving, but unfortunately that one's just drifted too high, perhaps due to the pressure Scott put on the mark. And now
absolutely beautiful fakes by Coggins to move Scott, a defensive beast, having him on the ground, getting a shot up to McNee, but McNee is not able to solidify that one. Scott now finds Liston on the far sideline. Looks back to Scott. Moss Lily on the mark. Disc finds Amelia Mance.
Just a very static downfield here. We're having some trouble finding players without that movement that they need to see. Oh, Middleton coming through when he's needed. That was the dynamic movement coming from deeper just to get a bit closer, and it was a surprise factor for the defenders. We just see a little more movement and just keep that cycling around going. We can see more punches through.
Graydon Scott to Liston, right on the red zone. Comfortable. Middleton unmarked. A nice short backhand, making it a very easy close, if a difficult point for DMT.
Yeah, I really love the patience there from Liston. He got right there on the goal line. Instead of trying to fire something in, he just stopped, waited for the defense to kind of pick their places and then see who was free.
So there is 1 point in it now. Equilibrium coming downwind on offense. A hold here keeps it a 2-point game. That's really what they need.
Yeah, DMT is going to need their best upwind game this point for sure. I expect to see a really strong line from them, a lot of throwers. This is a really good opportunity for them to try and get back into it. We see the dynamic duo with Scott and Free here as well, so they can have that strong receiver downfield for those big shots that Scott can put up. And we also see Mance Sheridan for the handling kind of capabilities.
Adler and Yo. Less than 10 minutes now until we hit soft cap. DMT 1 point behind, coming down on defense against the wind. It's going to be a hard slog for them. Equilibrium hoping that the fortune, the skill that has driven them this far to the final match will hold for just another 8 minutes. A pull to make it past halfway in these conditions really does show what kind of effort DMT, and in particular Scott, are putting into it. Connolly puts the forehand up to nobody.
Yeah, that was expected, I think. I wouldn't be surprised if Connolly had even said on the line to his team that they were just going to put everything back down this end, no matter what happened. Obviously, it's ideal if you have a player there as an option, but ultimately the territory is the key part here. I don't think Connolly will want to give any chances in his end of the field.
Absolutely. Bunkenberg, probably the tallest player on the field at the moment, to set up in the mark, trying to trap Scott in the far corner. A great opportunity for Equilibrium to widen that score back up to a 2-point lead that they've managed to fight for and managed to enjoy briefly. They're able to reset to Mance. It's a high shot. Sheridan not able to get it despite a good bid. A nice layout. Connolly now, number 8, on the zone, looking for something. Gardner making a nice cut across, but it's not there. Scott, a lot of pressure.
Yeah, Telly Wickens just gave her the point there. She did a great effort. Connolly even pointed what he wanted, and she took off with enough speed that she lost the defender.
We'll see there. That's it. Just making sure that the defense is out of position, both for handlers and also for their intended receivers. There's a huge, huge opportunity when those two can coincide.
Yeah, and Equilibrium have done a brilliant job here because they put in their downwind nice and quick, which has given them the upwind. And this is really the opportunity that Dunedin need. They need the opportunity to come upwind and get that break. If Dunedin don't get that opportunity, they're just going to run out of time here. Looks like some calm discussions happening still. They've got a plan. Really dangerous receiver line as well. A lot of capable catches here. Lily with a disc, a familiar face. Hope to see another big pull from him.
Hey, I just want to say a shout out to Caden and Lexi Connolly at home. Love you guys.
Yeah. Our security guard detail needs to be reevaluated as Mike Connolly sneaks into the booth for a cheeky shout out. Bunkenberg on defense looking to shut down, but Wilson manages to overthrow Sheridan. Equilibrium with an opportunity now.
Here we have Coggins with the disc again, midfield. Looking for something, nothing downfield though. Looks a reset. Reset's uncoming. Frantic now.
High edge backhand Silverman with an attempt.
Pick was called. Looks like the turnover's going to stand though. It didn't end up affecting that enough, it seems.
Scott's play may be having an impact on Silverman's willingness to go up for the disc. Wilson on the far sideline now, recentering to Liddell and Sheridan. Big fake shifting on, goes back the other way, Liddell with the disc.
We just need to see that finishing shot. We've got Michael hanging out in the end zone down there. We just need to see that through the middle opportunity. There's a lot of space on these kind of like middle sides that we haven't seen people moving across into. Well, there's the cut that we needed to see, just punching further downfield.
Finds Ernst, Sheridan, Scott, marked again by Bunkenberg.
Scott's looking for that end zone.
High release backhand. Wilson takes it right outside the zone, throws one across to Ernst for the score. DMT going up one more to 10. Only 1 point behind Equilibrium with 3.5 minutes or thereabouts left.
Yeah, it's a very impressive throw from Graydon Scott. It looked like a lefty backhand just lifting over the defenders and just landing right on his player. It's amazing control. I know a lot of players would be afraid of making that shot.
Scott, Free, Mance, Liddell, Sheridan. A very familiar looking DMT defensive line at this point. We've seen those players really represent the core of DMT's ability to work upwind, to make progress despite these conditions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gardner, Palmer, Connolly, Thine, Larkin, Wickens. Again, very familiar faces now on this Equilibrium line. It being the final match, it being enough to secure each team's region a potential extra spot for next year's Division 1 championships. These teams are leaving nothing behind, putting some of their finest players on the line more consistently. And really it comes down to balancing those players' ability with their ability to maintain the intensity that's gotten them this far in the first place.
Yeah, no, this is a huge question of intensity at this point. If you come down and you really put on a huge mark and you cause a hand block or a turnover much shorter than you'd expect, then it can give you that opportunity you need. We see Scott coming down trying for it, but Connolly's having none of it. He puts a huge downfield pass, and here we see Palmer just catching it. Uncertainty whether he's in. It seems called not in. Adler on the mark. It's another point. Just snuck it into Wickens there, waiting quietly in the end zone.
Equilibrium up by 2 minutes left until we hit soft cap, which means we need to finish the point after the hooter goes. Add 1 to the highest score, and then both teams are simply racing to that number. Now, considering that these downwind points are coming quicker and quicker as the game goes on, players unafraid to just let everything loose, send big shots down to the far end of the field, either seeking to score or seeking to gain enough territory that they can pressure the upwind team.
Yeah, DMT have to make some moves here. They've got to do something fast. They need to take this ball and put it in so that they get the opportunity to go back upwind.
So the score, 10-12 in favour of Equilibrium. A minute left on the soft cap. Moss Lily to pull. Gardner, Mason. The big shot from the man himself, touches in, inbounds, rolls out.
Looks like Lily's taking up position in the deep, and it'll be another zoney defense from Equilibrium.
Palmer on the mark, finds Yo.
Yeah, they're really clearly trying to discourage that huck downfield, that deep shot.
Mance wanting.
This is dangerous from Dunedin though. They've been doing this already, the game, playing around with the disc in their half, and I don't think they want it here. I think they want to send something down. They've got to get close. There we see Scott put it up. Big shot, big shot. We see Middleton down there. He's really safe usually. And he does it again.
Takes it in.
Does it again on a huge second attempt.
1 point. Absolutely phenomenal score.
Yeah, that's a really important timing of this as well, because we're just about to see the soft cap called, and it means that they are one. The Hooger goes. It means they're 1 point closer to the. So we've seen it announced now, so they'll play out this point.
So at least 2 points left to play. A DMT break here brings it back to a tie, making a game to 13. An Equilibrium hold, making it a game to 14.
Yeah, we see a strong line out here for Dunedin mixed team. Got to give themselves the best chance, and they've put Middleton back on. They've decided he's been playing a blinder, which he has.
Unquestionably my man of the match. As much as Graydon Scott's throws have dictated what DMT are capable of, it's Middleton's defensive coverage and his positioning on offense. You cannot score a point on throws alone. It is catches, and particularly that, going up above an equilibrium defender, catching the tip, and then immediately seeking to find the disc as it looks to hit the ground, and getting in the way of that to secure his team another point, keeping it a narrow game. Really cannot be overstated how important a player like that is for a side like this.
Yeah, no, he's done a fantastic job putting them in. Here we see the pool landing just over halfway, so we're in familiar territory. Connolly's likely to send it down. I don't think he wants it anywhere near here. Up it goes. Well covered by Middleton, it seems. Oh, it's just stuck over. Last second.
Bunkenberg with the score. Absolutely beautiful. Over the top of one of DMT's superstars, bringing the score now 13-11. It is a game to 14. 2 points in it now. DMT to come out on offense, equilibrium with an upwind opportunity. The question remains, how are DMT going to work this? Are they going to do the same thing that we've seen both of these teams do this entire game, utilize that downwind backing to just power shots through and then trust your zone defense to stop your opponent's upwind momentum?
Yeah, well, it's hard to know what they'll come out with. It's obviously risky to change anything up at this point. If you're unfamiliar with what you've been doing, it's sometimes better just to stick with what you've been doing and trust it. They're obviously going to be really hungry for it, so maybe their intensity will actually be what drags them over the line here. It's also still very much in the DMT's reach. They really only need a one upwind still. They can play this downwind, play the upwind, and play the downwind again, and that will take them to that 14 that they need. It's just they really need to put this next upwind away, basically.
Lily sends it. A bit of edge might come down as a roller. Not a huge amount of roll, still in the far half, indicating that maybe the wind has settled down a little bit. Means those longer options, particularly on those upwind points, are a little bit easier. Wilson, marked by Bunkenberg, splits through the zone, finds Scott. It's a high shot, a lot of edge. McNeil with the defense. This could be it. This could be what Equilibrium need to seal the game away and give the Central region an extra bid for next year's championship, as well as taking home some medals around the neck. Coggins, marked by Scott, manages to get one through to Bunkenberg anyway, finds Lily.
DMT have got to keep working here. We've seen some free passes on the unders, and we really just need to see some tight defense to shut this down. Looks like a high stall count now for Lily if he can find anything. Just out of reach there, unfortunately. So Abby's picked up. Liddell's looking for something.
Bunkenberg too aggressive on that mark. Shifts across. Wilson gets one away anyway.
Beautiful over the top. Middleton's safe. Scott here now with receivers in front.
This is a big backhand. Middleton just outside of the zone, looking to close this one off for him and his team.
Just need one reset here and just, unfortunately doesn't see the runners coming through.
Bunkenberg again, that's defense on defense for that man. Streaking deep, a lot of separation already, but the upwind's going to stop that long throw coming. McLeod to take the disc, resetting to Lily. Marked by Ernst, gets one away. Defended by Middleton again. There is no stopping that man.
Yeah, Middleton's done such a fantastic job keeping Dunedin in this. We looks like we might be having an ISO on Graydon Scott here. Looks like that's their best opportunity to score Dunedin and things. And it is.
Liddell
Easy.
to Scott. DMT go up one. It is 12 points to Equilibrium's 13. A race to 14. Equilibrium, pardon me, to coming down on offense with the wind at their backs. The final point of the game for them, unless DMT can force an error and capitalize.
Yeah, Dunedin's done a fantastic job giving themselves this opportunity. They've got a really, a big challenge ahead of them doing this upwind point, but we know that they can do it. Looks like a timeout might have been called. You see a lot of players kind of gathering up. Timeout called, it seems. So this will be a 2-minute timeout just for teams. Might have been a good opportunity just to regather, reaffirm what you're up to, what you're planning on the field. Undoubtedly, we'll hear some energy from the Dunedin team. They're still in it. They believe they can take this game still. might be some fueling happening here on the equilibrium side of things. Looks like some sugars and gummies being handed out rather than any strategic chats.
Yeah, but I've got to leave like as soon as this is gone.
So we're 6 minutes past soft cap now. So game to 14 still. It's pushing a 100-minute game. This is a long time to be playing. It's understandable that they have this quick break. We're just about to get underway here in a moment. Just going to hear some final words from captains and a few quick cheers, I think. A lot of smiles all around still.
DMT keeping that energy level high as they have been doing all tournament and certainly in this game.
That's right. You've got to pump it up.
Equilibrium taking the field now. Offense, McLeod, Dine, Wickens, Palmer, Connolly, Larkin.
Yeah, we see Gardner on the field, and he's been having an excellent game so far. He's been a weapon on the downwind, same with Wickens. I'm assuming we'll see more of the same with Connolly not giving away any territory. If they give the disc to him, he'll be sending it down, trying to find one of these players, I'm sure.
Exactly. It's a crucial opportunity now for Equilibrium to close out the game. It's still very, very narrow. They can't afford to make any mistakes, particularly as if the upwind break comes from the DMT line. DMT have an easier time of it coming back downfield. Connolly has made a lot of use of his ability to throw for territory, but in this case it might be, we might see him holstering those, particularly if he doesn't have any downfield receivers ready for those passes.
Yeah, I think the experience in Connolly there and really just knowing to play for territory consistently might have been a deciding factor in this game where we did see some indecision from Dunedin players. That's a huge pull, actually. It's made us the opposition break mark, which is something we haven't really seen.
Probably the longest we've seen this game going upwind. Connolly shifting the mark, sends a big forehand.
Oh, Gardner can't quite keep this one in hand, so Dunedin have an opportunity all of a sudden.
That's textbook free. That's what we like to see from him. Equilibrium now trying to set up a loose zone. Gardner and Palmer is the first line of defense.
Are you able to drive a manual? You can take my car.
They're re-centered in the middle here. They're trying to figure out how they want to attack this. They've been given this difficult puzzle of this zone that's quite hard. Adler's got some space here, but unfortunately slips over. Can't capitalize on anything. So they're back to this static position. Adler's making some good moves in the midfield, though. They've got some gaps here. Liddell's coming in. They're keeping the defense moving. It's looking like they've put this zone look on to try and stifle some of the deep shots. Adler with a great secondary grab. Just resetting again here. I think Connolly's sitting in that deep, making things hard for Free in the downfield.
Sheridan marked out by Palmer and Gardner again, looking to cut through as we approach the 100-minute mark for this game. Scott, Mance, Scott.
Yeah, it's very difficult here. It requires so much focus after a whole 2-day tournament and a 100-minute game, and you've got to put a lot of focus on every single throw to keep that flat and keep that spin on. This is a very hard job to do. This is the one. It's Free versus Connolly. If Free can take this position, he might come down with it. Unfortunately, he's lost and it's likely to go right back.
Connolly with a big shot, hoping to finish the game now. Gardner, but Scott gets the tip.
Oh, we've just had a brief change here in the commentary booth as Blair's done a fantastic job commentating this weekend, has to head off in order to get home. We're joined now by Tom Fraser in the booth.
Hey, yes, I've just been watching the game up in the Peanut Gallery. The crowd is super excited to see this game go to Universe.
So what are you thinking of what you've seen so far?
It's been some very, very high-level play. We're looking at Dunedin really moving it well between the handlers, but a lot of horizontal movement. we think they need to get a little bit more width and a little bit further down the field with those swings and gainers, just so they can start stretching that. And if they can open up that zone, I think we'll see Graydon getting the shots through.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like they had a little bit of trouble punching through, and that does come from these players like Gardner and Palmer here on the marks. They've been able to move across the field quite rapidly to cover that next throw, and the lack of width here is causing some trouble for Dunedin.
I think Dunedin are definitely just trying to open up that inside hut channel for Graydon to let it rip.
Yeah, it seems like they really do back free in the downfield, despite that contested catch with Connolly just before.
Nice work by Mance and Sheridan.
Yeah, and Adler's done a great job just catching these through passes. He's just gaining them yards so far. These guys are resetting the disc comfortably at the back, but they need those yards to come from somewhere.
Graydon looking big, a shot through the inside, and he's found Liddell, who's popped it.
Yeah, Adler's just got to take his time here, just reset back. They're now within striking range. We've seen before that Scott can put it this distance. They've just got to find how they're going to approach from here. They can just keep taking these smaller gainers through the middle. Adler's left now, left a bit of a vacuum in the middle here. We need to see some Dunedin player fill in the space. Just calm, patient offense, which we really love to see in this like crucial game point.
Graydon to Mance.
It's good to see Adler coming in, cycling back into that middle, just creating the possibility.
Oh, Liddell with the shot.
Oh, almost reeled in there by Adler, very close. Liddell just
Solid
needs to take a
effort.
little bit of time.
Mike Connolly knows where to shoot it.
Yeah, well defended by Dunedin. They knew that was coming. There were 3 down there waiting for that. Gardner didn't have a great shot at it, so Dunedin are back to square one, but they've been making some really promising gains up the field, so I wouldn't be too happy if I was Dunedin here.
Oh, Sheridan with the defense really need to spice up here. Didn't have to stop this throw. There's Wickens catching the winning point. Congratulations, Equilibrium from Wellington.
Yeah.
Huge win.
Yeah, it's a fantastic effort by both teams. The fact that we've seen 3 upwind points is just fantastic this play. Here we see Palmer just taking calmly and maybe caught him out with that left hand, and Wickens just snaking another one in. Fantastic play by Equilibrium.
And the crowd erupts with chants for Moss Lily, who's had a phenomenal game. The folk hero coming out of the story. I feel very sorry for the DMT, the Dunedin mixed team. They've worked pretty hard, but Equilibrium getting those upwins, all important in days like today.
Absolutely. Hey, a game of upsets, but a fantastic tournament by both teams. So this is the conclusion to the 2020 New Zealand Mixed Ultimate Championships, Division 2. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name's Toby Sutherland.
I'm Tom Fraser.
And we'll see you next time in Division 1 in another week.